Better known by his stage name of Calvin Harris, Adam Richard Wiles is a Scottish DJ, singer, songwriter, and record producer. His debut album was certified gold and spawned several top 10 singles. Harris has written and produced albums for several big-name stars like Kylie Minogue and Rihanna. Harris broke the previous record in the UK for the most top 10 hits from a studio album. It has been previously held by Michael Jackson. Harris broke it with 10 hits. He is listed by Forbes as the highest-paid DJ of 2013. Join us to learn more about this multi-talented performer.
If people call me that,
Right.
I like it when they call me that.
Oh,
Lucky.
you do. You're up. You like Lucky.
Lucky's good.
Right. You don't want the
Because
pressure of hitmaker.
Pressures. I don't like pressure. No, I came number 31 on the Hot DJs 100 list. 31's a great number for me.
You prefer that.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing too well to not have expectations foisted upon you. It's interesting. That song we just heard, Feel So Close. So you not only produced that record, but you sort of go against the DJ stereotype in that one. And you sing on it as well. Tell me what inspired you to put aside a guest singer on that and sing it yourself.
Well, I used to sing everything myself. This is my third album. So in the UK, I guess I was known more of a singer. Even though I did always produce and write everything, I sang pretty badly as well. I wasn't very good. So
Did you come 31 on a list of singers?
I was not on the list of singers. But the reason it's called 18 months is because it's 18 months since I decided to stop singing and just make songs with other people because it's way more fun. But then Feel So Close was the exception because I couldn't think of anyone that would do better than my one.
I was going to say, how do you decide what you're going to sing or what you're going to get somebody else to
Just
sing?
if it sounds good. I think by this stage I can look, rather than getting shy about being a bad singer, I can just look at it objectively, and if it sounds good, I know if it sounds good or not. So I use it. Obviously I sang We Found Love and it didn't sound so good.
So a lot of people, I guess, on this side of the Atlantic, especially since you say you're already known there as you are in the UK, certainly better than you are here, will think of you as a DJ or a producer or a writer. Where did it start? Did Calvin Harris, the singer, come first or Calvin Harris, the DJ?
Neither. It was me in my bedroom trying to produce, trying to write tracks and make instruments sound good and turn them into things that sounded like songs that might appear on the radio. So I started doing that when I was 14. Singing was just because I couldn't find anyone to sing on the tracks. I'm from a small town in Scotland where not many people... I think I was the only guy who liked dance music or understood how I wanted a vocal to be delivered. Everyone was into more kind of indie bands, which I was into, but I
or perhaps Brit rock of the 90s, the Oasis Blur thing.
It was where I was from. It was Oasis. Blur were far too southern to be accepted, so it was Oasis, and later on, The View and bands like this.
And why didn't you gravitate towards that? What was it about dance music that caught your attention?
I don't know why, but I like soul and disco and stuff like that. So in the late 90s, it was disco house was the big thing in dance music. So it would be house records like with big disco samples, big obvious disco samples, or not so obvious, in the case of Daft Punk or whoever. So I got into that, and I would really like things like bass lines, and I liked chords, and I liked Roy Ayers. There's no one in Dumfries who likes Roy Ayers. It's just me. So it was hard to find someone who had the understanding of soul, but also modern dance music. So I had to try and figure out how to make me sound good on a record singing, which, as I'm not a singer, was quite hard.
Well, undeterred though, you take to the internet, and I mean, you're one of this generation of singer-songwriters or creators who get their start in a big way on MySpace, which was kind of a window for a while because it's not there anymore, really. Tell me how that went down, because it's this famous story now that Calvin Harris gets discovered on MySpace. What exactly were the steps that led you to become discovered by a major label?
I had my songs on my page, 5 songs, maybe 4 songs, and I just, I had a system. I found, say, one person who's maybe a songwriter or an A&R or someone like that, I'd look at their top friends, and then I'd click on each of the top friends, the ones that weren't private, I'd see what they did. So maybe one of them would be A&R for EMI publishing, maybe one would be management or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just added all of them and said, hey, check out my songs, like every other person. But I happened to add this guy that just started his job at EMI Publishing, who I didn't know he was working for EMI, but I recognize him because he wrote a Sugar Babes song, Sugar Babes being a British girl band who were cool like back then.
Right.
And he wrote their first song, Overload, which was like kind of moody breakbeat song. So I added him just because he seemed like, a kind of dude that I might want to know via the internet.
Right.
And he listened to the tracks because he was, switching into A&R mode.
He was too new to A&R to know that he should be ignoring
Exactly.
all the kids writing him about
Exactly.
to listen to.
Exactly.
Right.
Try getting to him now. It's impossible.
And so what? So you get this message saying...
So I got a big long message saying, with the address and all sorts. Send me everything that you've done in a nice shiny package to this address. So I did. And at the same kind of time, I added this other guy who said he wanted to act as my manager, which sounds kind of dodgy, but he had a lot of good connections. So yeah, it kind of all happened in the same week. And then there was another A&R man as well who worked for a completely separate company called CR2, who's just dance music. And then apparently the story goes they all played the CD to one guy, this guy, Moot, at EMI, the boss. They all came in one week and they all played different tracks by me. And then when they realized that it was all by the same guy, he's, we need to sign him.
Right. Critical mass is developing. So, and how many hits were you getting on MySpace at the time, just from punters or
Not
people?
that many. It was like, I wasn't like an internet,
Sensation.
No, I wasn't known. It was just that I added the right guys.
And but just as a sidebar, because I want to continue with your story, but what happened to MySpace? What's your sense of the demise of MySpace?
I think just too many adverts, like commercials. I don't know, the things. It got in the way of, and then they changed the music player. I went on MySpace about 6 months ago, and I couldn't play a song by a band. That's when I knew that it was probably time to never go back,
if not usurped by other platforms, right, and other sites and servers. So you go from MySpace to signing with EMI, and then you begin producing big records. I mean, your first hit album, I Created a Disco. That's a pretty quick transition from relative obscurity to being a sought after producer on a major label. Tell me about that experience for you. Was that a whirlwind? Did you keep your head through all of that?
It was interesting because, when you first get signed, you think that you're amazing. So I thought I was doing well. I thought I didn't really try very hard, and the whole first album, because I thought it would do, which is an amazing attitude to have as someone who's like barely signed. And, so precariously hanging on to his record deal, I was like, nah, that'll do, that's fine. It's just crazy. Because I figured that because I was responsible for this record, it was like, I could make it better if I wanted to, but I just didn't want. I thought it was good enough. And it was
and
good.
They didn't have a say? They didn't?
Nah, because it was weird. It quickly escalated into a minor bidding war between these two labels, because I had a publishing deal, and then the publishers put me in with Kylie Minogue. And at the time, Kylie Minogue was a huge, huge, huge pop star, like at her peak of her career in the UK and Australia or whatever. So they were like, who's this 22-year-old kid who we've never heard of producing for one of the biggest pop stars of our generation? So that got labels interested.
Well, for sure. When there's a bidding war, you can do what you want with
exactly.
impunity.
So you can put all sorts of things in the contract, like the A&R will not change anything.
Right.
He's mixing it himself. He's producing it himself. Which is fair enough, kind of. So yeah, it just ended up kind of this really raw album.
I'm speaking with Calvin Harris, the hit maker from the UK. His latest album is called 18 Months and includes various massive hit singles around the world. Did you ever consider going the indie route, or was a major label something you always wanted to pursue?
I tried to do indie route, but it was with the sort of music I was making, it was hard to know where to pitch it. I was sending CDs out when people sent CDs out since I was 15, and I was getting the same kind of responses. So now, as soon as there was a chance to sign with a major, I was like, yeah, definitely.
See if you can. I don't know if you can do this. Deconstruct what it is you do, what the ingredients are. I want. Let's talk about the last 18 months. I mean, your single "Feel So Close" blew up in the summer of 2011. We talked about that. This is quickly followed up then with your collaboration with Rihanna on "We Found Love," two enormous pop singles right after each other. I mean, you seem to have figured out what ingredients go into a hit. What is what is key in your view to successfully creating a contemporary pop song right now?
Well, I think in the last 2 years at least, which is really, I can't speak for the future, but for the sort of music that I produce, you need 3 or 4 distinctive musical elements, whether it be sounds or riffs. If it's a key riff, it can be in pretty much anything. If it's a key sound, it just needs to be an interesting kind of texture. So you have 3 or 4 of them. You have a really basic arrangement, a very simple vocal, very simple where it drops in and where it drops out. It's almost like a formula where you replace the lyrics, the music, and keep kind of the drums the same.
Do you start with the groove?
I kind of start with an instrument like a guitar or a keyboard. So yeah, I guess you start with the groove. But because I've been working in 128 BPMs for the last 2 years, which is unusual for a lot of people, you just start with a bass drum going at 128 BPM and try and think of
so
something
that's
different.
a speed of a just to clarify for the audience. That's a speed of a groove. You mean you always use that same speed?
Yeah. Imagine trying to make 15 different tracks all at the same speed. It's difficult. So you got to try and think of, different ways of presenting this dance music and keep it interesting.
And that's because you are beholden to an idea of dance music. I mean, a traditional album would have something at that speed and then a ballad that's slower and then something that's Celtic inspired. I don't know, that's faster or whatever. I mean, why do everything at the same speed?
Well, because I was just going to do singles at first. When I stopped singing and when I decided to stop doing albums, basically, I thought, I'm just going to do singles. They're all going to be pop songs and dance songs, and they're all going to be 128, but they're all going to sound different. So that was
a challenge.
Well, that was the concept. It's a concept. And then when all these record, the things did well in the UK that didn't do well over here. So over there, it kind of plays like some weird greatest hits. Because 6 of them were singles before even the album
well,
came
even
out.
on this record, you've got there's 2 or 3 songs that anyone's going to know over the last couple of years, and it's a new album as well that's got new stuff on it.
Yeah.
Do you write to... Is each song a potential hit for you? Do you want every song to be a hit? I mean, it sounds like sort of counterintuitive, like every musician wants every song to be a hit. But I mean, are you actually thinking, I've got to put the ingredients into this to be another global hit?
Yeah. Well, I don't really think global. I want to make good records. I'm not that calculating in the way that maybe a Dr. Luke is or somebody like that. Because I need to make sure it works as, when I'm DJing as a dance floor record as well. So it's more, I don't know, maybe more basic than what he goes through when he tries to do pop songs.
What's your bar for success? What is in other words, how does a song need to perform for you to feel like it's successful?
I like a song to make. I like to be proud of my own songs, which is something that I haven't been previously. I like to listen, like this album, I can listen to everything and be like, well...
For now.
Huh?
For now you can.
Yeah.
Maybe a year from now.
Mm-hmm.
You might...
It's true.
You might be less proud, right?
Attitudes change. No, I can listen to most things on the album and think, well, nobody did that before. Even if only me and a handful of other people realize it, At least I know that I had that idea first.
Like what? Give me an example of what you feel like no one has done before.
I feel so close. Nobody did anything like that before.
In what way?
Because it's an emotional. It's kind of like almost emo vocal. I can't remember the last time guitars were in dance music like that.
Yes.
And also it's all real instruments. Nothing's fake there, you know, it's real music, and it's real melody and actual emotion. And in a lot of dance music now, it's about being in the club and popping bottles over this cheap sounding synths, which people can make so easily and get somebody else to mix. And I'm really not about that. So
Nicely done.
yeah, that's it really.
I mentioned in the introduction, Rihanna isn't your only female singer you've collaborated with. So Florence Welch, Ellie Goulding, Khalees, others have made all appearances on the album. Why do you think your music fits so well with female voices?
It's something about the frequencies, you know. If you're in a big room and you're playing dance music, you got the bass and the mids covered, you need some kind of high mid to float over the top. And if it's a powerful voice,
It's literally a sonic thing you're thinking
yeah,
of.
I think so.
Makes sense.
I think the best female vocalists are powerful and of a high mid range for dance music.
If you've got this fat bass sound, for example,
Yeah.
and then you have a guy singer singing somewhere in the same range, it's just not going to work. the same
Sure,
way.
exactly. If you've got a guy and he's at 400 hertz, your bass line's at, you know, from 80 to 200.
And how does it work, Calvin? So Rihanna, do you tell her what she's going to? Do you she comes in, or you email her and say here's the part, or do they jam with you? How do these collaborations work?
The Rihanna one was fully written and all guide vocaled and all done, and she heard it and she wanted it for her record, and that was it. She's just like, I'm just going to copy what was
Who
done.
lays down the guide vocal?
She has a team because she's Rihanna. She has a team of people that records her vocals, so she sounds the same in every record. You know, the same kind of voice and EQ and stuff. So I did nothing to that vocal. They gave me the vocal and it was done, which is great for me because then I just concentrate on the music.
But who laid down the guide for her to know what the vocal should be?
First it was me
Singing yourself?
singing falsetto like a girl, and
Right.
then it was my friend Aya, who is on the last track of that album. She did me a favor because I'm not going to play a song to Rihanna with me singing like a girl on it. It's embarrassing enough as it is. So I got her to do it because she's a girl. It sounded much better.
That's an amazing process. So you guys actually don't have to meet, you and Rihanna, to make that song.
No, we didn't. It's funny, but we did. But we didn't have to.
This isn't just a big year for you. It's a big year for many DJs in the electronic dance music realm. You're probably getting asked about this a lot, but I have to ask you about it. After years in the underground, it's all over the mainstream, right? Artists like deadmau5, Skrillex, David Guetta, yourself. Why do you think EMD has had such a banner year? EDM.
EDM. I really have no idea, other than maybe a load of people at the same time all became very focused and things just kind of clicked and they knew what they wanted to do all at the same time. I'm not sure. It's like, the Swedes and... Actually, no, that's not it. It's not it at all. I don't know because everyone's doing the really very distinctive things. You know, Skrillex is so different from deadmau5, is so different from Swedish House Mafia. I'd like to think I'm different from all of them as well.
Yeah.
So I really don't know.
What about you with mainstream success? These massive gigs you're playing, you've played to hundreds of thousands of people, like Coachella, Lollapalooza, the Ultra Music Festival. You said that sometimes during shows you wonder, what are all these people doing here? What have the last couple of years been like for you as a performer?
It's been interesting because I've not been DJing all my life. You know, I've been producing, but it's been kind of challenging. I've not been thinking what are people doing here at the festivals. I know what they're doing here because there's a huge lineup and it's a big rave. But on my own shows, I'm intrigued. But
Do
people
you
have
like
fun.
performing?
Yeah, it's fun. It's definitely fun.
You're not one of the guys who just would rather be in front of your computer back at home.
It depends. Some
uploading
shows,
songs onto
some
MySpace.
shows, yeah. No, in the most part, it's amazing fun, and like every show, I'd always at least 2 or 3 times think, Well, I'm really lucky.
I interviewed Deadmau5 here not too long ago. We had a big, long chat, and I asked him about some controversial comments he made about top-level DJs. You probably heard this at this point. In Rolling Stone, he said that many DJs are just, and I'm quoting him, button pushers getting paid $500,000. And not to say I'm not a button pusher, I'm just pushing a lot more buttons.
That's funny.
Do you see any truth in his characterization of the DJ profession?
I guess so, yeah. But he's describing himself. It's like saying something and then saying that he's included.
Yeah.
So he's slating an entire genre.
And himself.
And himself included, which is classic Deadmau5.
Does it bother you that he said that?
No, not at all. No, I mean, the thing is, people...
He's kind of saying, what's the big deal? We're standing, playing...
Yeah, there's not really a big deal. I don't know what the big deal is. The big deal is a lot more people are into that kind of music now, so that the festivals have got much, much bigger. But essentially, the key component has remained the same. The profession of the DJ hasn't altered. People have tried to make it more complicated and make it look more impressive, but the end result is often worse. Feels forced and looks bad because they're probably staring at a computer screen half the time. So it's just like it's almost like, I don't know.
But unlike Deadmau5, and I'm not saying anything he wouldn't agree with, he doesn't consider himself a musician.
Oh, doesn't he?
No.
Huh.
He has trouble with that, or whereas you are a musician, or you'd say you would be, right?
I would say so.
Yeah. So I guess the idea would be that you would feel like you're not getting your due somehow if people think you're just a guy who stands up there and presses buttons.
No, I'm okay with that because I discovered very early on that most people are, I don't know. I don't need to really prove myself to anyone. The first album that came out, everybody, all the reviewers and stuff, they hated it. But I know that a lot of people liked it. And then second album, reviewers just generally don't like me because they don't really get it. They don't really understand what I do. I'm sure if they watched me in the studio, they'd be very impressed and they might change their mind. But it's not my job to impress people like that.
Do you think that's generational? Do you think that it's like the rock critics or whoever you're talking about are stuck in this idea of what artists are supposed to be?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, or they... But a lot of people presume there's a big team behind most things like that as well. Like I have a team who make the music and mix it and all that kind of stuff and play the instruments. And
you're the face of it.
Yeah, because I don't.
Right.
Because I don't go out of my way to prove them wrong because I can't be bothered. Yeah.
Really, eh? Like it doesn't bug you if somebody gives you a bad review.
Oh, not at all. No, because
why not?
There's all these other real people that like the music and go to the shows and enjoy themselves, and all the reviewers. We all know that reviewers are all failed musicians and all have huge chips on their shoulders about various things, mostly dance music, because they see dance music as being a bunch of people that got lucky, whereas they grafted in their terrible band for 15 years and didn't get signed because they were awful, but they were lugging a drum kit around to small shows, so they feel that they actually earned the right to release records and call themselves musicians when they were still terrible, no matter how much carrying of equipment you do. You're still bad. I've carried a lot of things in my life. I used to stack shelves for a living. I stacked lots of things on shelves.
Right.
I didn't think
your height was an advantage.
Sure, yeah. I have very long arms and torso.
Well, you've certainly endeared yourself to the critics now with what you've just said. You have the love that you feel, I'm sure, will be reciprocated. With larger crowds, I have to ask you about this, comes this greater danger as well. So just like last week, 3 young fans, you probably heard about this, were crushed to death at a show by DJ Steve Aoki in Spain. When you're performing, Calvin, how much do you worry about the safety of the people in the audience?
You can tell really early on if something's going wrong. I've gotten the mic before and I watched My Chemical Romance once in Dublin, and they had to stop the show and do this big 3 steps back thing. It was really cool because everyone did it. Everyone went 3 steps back. So you got to try that.
And have you done that? You stopped
I've done
the show
that before. Yeah, I did that before. a couple of years ago I did that, and it worked. But I mean, I mean, his Aoki's show's a lot crazier than mine. He has a lot of things going on, and he does all this stuff that I don't really do. So my shows aren't of that. You know, they're not like of the dubstep variety where people are moshing. It's not like a rock show. It's still essentially house music, which is quite a loving thing.
What about the EDM reputation? I mean, besides the large numbers of for drawing out big partiers who are experimenting with drugs and alcohol, how do you see that relationship between drugs and dance music?
I think it exists. I never mention anything to do with drugs ever in any of my songs or anything. I never even mention drugs. I don't do drugs. I drink frequently to excess. I don't mention that either. It's just one of those things that goes with dance music. It always has done, and it goes with a lot of other forms of music as well.
Do you feel like you have to take responsibility for what happens in your audience?
Yeah, sure you do. Of course. It's hard to control when it's a festival because so much is out of your control. But if it's your headline gig, yeah, you should try and control everything from ticket prices to security to everything. Sure.
You know, you coming on this show, people had told me that you're a really nice guy, and that seems to be what's being borne out here. It's been a pleasure meeting you, and it almost feels like you have a very casual relationship with how massive you've grown as an artist in just in a short time. You seem to be taking it in stride. Where do you want to go with this?
Yeah, I don't know. Nah, you know what it is? It's like whenever you do interviews like this, it's always a very retrospective thing. You're talking about what you've done and how it's gone and all that kind of stuff. I'm very much I'm not a very engaging interviewee because I don't I'm not concerned with what I've done. I'm thinking always at the back of my mind, whatever I'm doing, what I'm gonna do next. Sounds
well.
Really
Do you
obvious.
honestly? I mean, so last week he's from a different generation, but John Taylor from Duran Duran was here, and he was talking about, as he does in his book, about the beginnings of Duran Duran in the UK and how they actually mapped it out. You know, they were starting out, and they said 2 years from now we wanted Wembley, 3 years from now we want to do multiple nights at Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
Do you ever think that way?
Not in terms of gigs. No, I like to think of. I like to plan out vaguely when I want to put records out, but I don't know what they're going to sound like. I don't know if they're going to be any good. If they're not any good, they won't come out. I used to plan things when I was much younger, and they always went really wrong. So I don't plan anything now. I just try and do everything as soon as possible so that I can have time to decide when it comes out. But that isn't often the case. I don't know really. I'm just winging it. You know, it went well this year, and it went well last year. It went well this year mainly because of the Rihanna record. Everyone started paying attention to me. But that could have happened, you know, in the last album. It just happened at a good time because when people started paying attention was also the time when I got really good at doing a certain thing.
Would you be disappointed if you did a gig now and 60 people showed up?
No, I'd be into it. It'd be cool. It'd be fine. I'd be disappointed if I put a record out and 60 people bought it.
You would.
I'd be much more disappointed with that. Or just 6 people downloaded it illegally. That would be even worse.
Even more disappointing.
Yeah, that'd be awful.
It's really great to meet you, man. What's the best part of your gig these days?
Of doing this is the fact that I can make something and so many people can hear it. I had years when I made loads and loads of things which I thought were really good. Looking back, they weren't, but that's irrelevant. I would make like loads of tracks that I was really proud of, and nobody would hear them apart from, you know, my mum's cat. And now loads of people are going to hear them and judge them, and that's great. I'm into that. That's awesome. And either they'll like them or they'll hate them, but the fact that they've heard it and I've got the platform to unleash records onto so many people, it's crazy. It's amazing.
Your mom's cat doesn't get the private audience anymore.
It died. It
Oh,
died.
I'm sorry.
Sadly.
Sorry to hear that.
Shortly after listening to the second album.
Thank you, Calvin Harris. It's a pleasure. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Harris's big break came in 2006 when Sony BMG signed him on as an artist. He also signed contracts with 360 Group for management and EMI for publishing. Harris's debut album was released in June of 2007. Called I Created Disco, the album contains up-tempo electro-clash songs that have an influence from music of the 80s. To promote the album, Harris toured the UK as a support act for Faithless and Groove Armada. I Created Disco would be certified gold by the British phonographic industry when it hit sales of over 100,000 in the UK. The record would reach number 8 on the UK albums chart.
How you doing, Calvin?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good to see you, man. We're doing really, really well. Where's the tan from? Where have you been?
Essex.
Always
lately.
very, very tan. I know it's natural. I know it's natural. What have you been living out this week? What have you been up to?
I've been in America
Nice.
on the West Coast.
Excellent.
You stayed away from that hurricane then, yeah?
I did. I just made it back actually before they cancelled all the flights.
Okay,
I was the last flight to the UK. I was very lucky.
Lucky boy, lucky.
Yeah.
When did you get back?
Sunday.
Okay.
Monday.
Okay,
Sunday.
so round about the time that you tweeted the Lady Gaga situation, was that right?
No, I didn't tweet anything.
Oh, didn't you?
I just said something in an interview which was something that I'd said 4 years ago.
Oh,
And was
right.
widely reported,
Right.
right, that I was like, there was a remix offer before she was, big or whatever, and I was busy, which frequently I am.
You are, yeah. Of
A lot
course.
of people are busy. So it was just like another one of them things that you just can't do.
It's so mad how everything gets blown up because did she actually tweet you personally off the back of this?
Yeah.
Which is just mad. So
No,
even
because,
she believed
because
it.
I said it again, and then the second time round, everyone started reporting it like it was news,
Okay.
which it isn't.
Yeah.
But they reported it in a different way, like, oh, she emailed him personally and wanted to do a track with him, and he said, no chance. And that is completely not what happened.
Well, there you go. From the horse's mouth, himself, cleared up and verified. There we go.
There you go.
Now, the new album, so excited about this personally, I am. But 18 Months it's called.
Yeah.
Really cool album. But what's the best thing that's happened to you in the last 18 months? Because there must have been so much stuff that's gone on.
Well.
What can you remember?
We need one, yeah.
And keep it clean, Calvin.
We've heard about you.
I guess musically, the Rihanna track
Okay.
Yeah.
is probably an easy choice.
We found love, right?
Yes, we found
Amazing.
love. Yeah,
Wicked.
yeah.
Now, I've got a question for you on Twitter, on the Kiss Twitter page, at KissFM UK. Now, I know you hooked up with Cheryl Cole in Vegas. Did you
yeah.
guys party together? Who lasted the longest and where did you go?
She'd been out the night before, so she lasted about 15 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Cheryl,
It was
man.
disappointing. It was disappointing.
Serious?
So I went on. I looked round, and our table's empty. I'm like, oh, I'm Cheryl. Oh, she's got to bed.
To bed. Oh, not a good
Party
look.
pooper.
She went
So
to bed.
what did you go on to do though that night? What
I was
did you get up
DJing.
to? Ah, good
So
stuff.
I was playing, 2 hours plus.
Job done.
Depends how much I drink.
All right, so Calvin, congratulations. You are leading the midweeks at the moment, so congratulations. Good luck for Sunday with the album as well.
Thanks.
But I read somewhere that you said, or I think you might have said, or words to this effect, that after working with Rihanna on We Found Love, that's when you kind of started to get loads more offers and it kind of took you to the next level. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, when I started asking for guest vocalists and that, like, I was so lucky to get Khalees to do the first one. I was
Yeah.
so happy to get that. And then from then on, it was like nobody's wanting to do anything,
Right.
Like, who's gonna do the next one? So for Rihanna to come in and just take that song was best thing that could have happened, because after that, and because it was a big success, big hit, everyone was up for it.
Really? Is that it just snowballed out of control after that? Really?
Everyone. And there was nobody that asked that wasn't up for it.
Wow.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
Even Dizzy Rascal was up for it. I've been trying to get, he owes me 3 tracks.
Because I heard that it was supposed to go to Leona Lewis originally, right? And
Yeah.
then she was like, she wanted a different single. Then you went to Rihanna with it, and then it obviously blew up. And now, obviously,
Something like that, but she recorded it first.
right.
That's mad.
Which one was better?
It's very different because she sings it dead softly, how
Right.
I'd
Leona
love to
sings.
hear it that way though.
It's more like an X Factor ballad.
Right.
Do you still have it, like, at home?
Yeah, the only people who've got it is me and Leona Lewis.
That's crazy.
That is madness. That is madness. And when you did the Rihanna track, were you guys together, or did you send it to her? She did her thing and then sent it back.
No, we were together, but she doesn't let anyone in the studio when she's recording vocals, apart from our engineer.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I was in there, and I was like, all right, how's it going? See you later.
Laters.
He was off. But then, like, 3-4 hours later, I come back.
Okay.
And it's all done, and it sounds absolutely amazing.
We
I'm
need
just
to make
like-
sure it's not the engineer singing, boy.
I want to talk to you about guest vocals because you've got loads of different people on the new album, but you've kind of taken a step back. We've not listened to the whole album yet. Are you actually featuring on any of your own tracks, or?
I'll do the music.
No, I know, but do you sing on any of them?
Hello, Charles. I'm the producer.
I'll do the music, I'll mix it all.
Not vocal-wise, because we haven't heard you on anything for ages.
And we love it when you get on the track.
Yeah.
Oh,
We love it. We
that's
love
nice.
it.
Lovely story.
I do Feel So Close, did that.
Oh yeah, of course.
And then there's another track with Nicky Romero, who's a DJ, called Iron. I'm on that for a bit.
Hey, he's in there.
15
Great
seconds.
stuff. Now, Calvin, we've known you for quite a while now. You're a good friend of Kiss Breakfast, so we feel that we can ask you these things, okay? We had a friend of yours, or who we think might be a friend of yours, on the show a couple of weeks ago, and we asked her who we thought she would think would win in a DJ battle between yourself and David Guetta.
All right.
We can play the clip. Should we play the clip?
Yeah, let's play the clip.
go on.
Let's play the clip. Let's play the clip. Let's play the clip. Both are superstar DJs in their own right. Who would win in a Warrior DJ battle between David Guetta and Calvin Harris?
Well, I just don't know.
Oh, come on, Kesha. Come on.
No sitting on the fence here, Kesha.
I don't know.
You know, Kesha.
I do know things, but I don't know who would win that battle.
Right, okay. So she said that
There we
with the
go.
biggest glint in her with the biggest glint in her eye. Calvin, the biggest glint in her eye with regards to yourself. So what we need to know is, would you, are you, or have you ever dated Kesha?
Dated.
I use the term loosely, of
I
course.
mean, I don't know. I mean, I've met her a few times.
All right.
I have. She's a nice girl.
She is a nice girl. She's good fun. She's good
Aye.
fun.
You're saying this so straight. There's more. There's more.
The strangest thing is that she's never appeared on any of your tracks, as far as we're aware. Is there any kind of sort of down the line potential of her featuring on one of your tracks, or vice versa? Or you
Not that
producing
I'm
a track
aware
for her?
of.
He sounds like a lawyer right now. Calvin's killing me.
So straight.
It's so
I love
straight.
that. I love that. I applaud
Amazing.
you, Calvin. I applaud.
Harris announced via Twitter account on August 22, 2012, that he was working on his third studio album, and it would be titled 18 Months. The album would feature a variety of artists from Khalees, Rihanna, Example, Nicky Romero, Ellie Goulding, Neo, Aya Morand, Dylan Francis, Tiny Tempa, and Florence Welch. At the 2012 MTV Video Music Awards held at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, Harris had the distinction of being the house DJ. He also won Best Electronic Video for Feel So Close and Video of the Year with Rihanna for We Found Love. Harris signed as the first exclusive resident DJ at the MGM Grand's upcoming Hakkasan Las Vegas nightclub in February 2013. Harris also performed as part of the after-race concert for the 2013 Formula One Bahrain Grand Prix on April 20th, 2013.
So Calvin, we're here in Vegas. You're headlining at Hakkasan as a DJ. What do you think of Vegas as a market in terms of the dance music space?
It's a lot of fun to play, because a lot of just clubs and dance music events, you almost need to have one eye on impressing your peers. So Vegas is nice for me because I can play a few more musical song things and club things, and the reaction will be good. And it's kind of, in that respect, a bit challenging as well, because it's like, if you play too much hardcore club music, people aren't going to like it, because there's a lot of casual, just club goers, you know, they're not all electro EDM heads.
But I wanted to talk about your background and where you came from. And there's a story, I mean, I heard you worked at a supermarket.
I worked in a couple of supermarkets. Like when I first left school, I wanted to do music, but I didn't particularly want to go on like a training course for music, because I was like 17 and thought I knew everything already. At first I was in a fish factory for a year, and then I got laid off on my birthday, then I got a job at Safeway, which was less smelly, but worse paid. Saved up £4,000 and then moved to London, trying to find singers for all these instrumentals that I made. And I ended up finding one in a year, which wasn't really enough. Ran out of money, went back to Scotland, no job, back in with mum and dad. I started messing around with music just for fun, rather than music to try and get a record deal, which is what I was doing before. Same sort of time MySpace was getting big. Set up a MySpace account, started adding people that I thought were loosely connected to the industry, like songwriters or A&Rs. So I happened to add, in 1 week, the guy who ended up signing me to EMI Publishing and my now manager. I was like, hey, check out my beats, just like how I did with everyone. Within that month, I'd signed the deal and I'd stacked my last chicken breast on the shelf.
Come a long way since then. 18 months, broke records, 8 top 10s in the UK, breaking Michael Jackson's record. So how has that transition been over those last couple of years?
Well, when I first started, I was singing all the songs, as well as producing and mixing and all that kind of stuff. Maybe 3 years out of that before I just wanted to stop everything altogether, which I did in the end. I was just like, I need to get rid of all this and get back to just making music again, because so much of my effort was on the live show, which I didn't truly sort of believe in. It would be me singing and it was horrendously uncomfortable. I didn't think it was that good. So started off, the start of 2011 with just a really kind of basic club track to almost just show people that, one, I don't have to sing anymore, and two, because it was so overtly club and not pop at all, just to kind of not get rid of, but kind of just shift maybe some fans over there to something else, and then, well, I could go over here. And then it just kind of rolled on, and every time I made a track, we put it out.
You reinvented yourself, and that's not really easy to do in this business.
Yeah, especially when you keep the same name. It's all right here. The reason I've been, I think, most successful here is, one, because the rise of dance music has been astronomical in the last 3 years, and I happen to be at the right place at the right time. And secondly, because in America, like maybe 5% of the music listening population here had even heard of me. So when I first come out with just dance music, just like when I first come out with a Wooga, then Bounce, then the Rihanna record as well. It's just like, I'm a new guy. Oh, he's a DJ. So it was easy. But in the UK, it's like, don't really know what he is. But the record still did really well there, but the large majority of people don't really know what I am or what I do or why my name is like first on the record when I'm not singing.
Do they know now, do you think, or do you think it's
a lot of them?
Okay.
It's just trying to win everybody over again, especially people that didn't like you first time round. You know, who have always been just straight into club music, and they see me doing these pop things in like 2007 or whatever, they're like, it's that guy.
After Harris was part of the support act for Rihanna in Australia, he produced We Found Love and Where Have You Been? We Found Love is the lead single from her 6th studio album called Talk That Talk. The song premiered in September 2011. It hit #1 in the US and the UK. The song became Harris's first appearance on the Billboard Hot 100. Harris also co-wrote and co-produced the bonus track called One Life for R&B singer Mary J. Blige. The song appeared on the album My Life 2, The Journey Continues, Act 1, in 2011. Harris also worked on the 4th studio album Magic Hour from Scissor Sisters on their single Only the Horses. He also wrote and produced the single Call My Name for Cheryl Cole.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
I'm really good. It's a beautiful day.
Everybody is like shorts, bikinis, skin out. You somehow look cool as a cucumber.
I'm not. I'm actually incredibly hot in this outfit, but I can't be wearing shorts at a thing like this. I wear shorts abroad during the day. I don't really want to be seen to be wearing shorts. I don't know what it is. It's something mental. I'm Scottish. I don't think I should be wearing shorts.
2 guys said to me yesterday they will not wear a vest in the UK, but they wear it abroad. I'm like, I don't understand.
I've never worn a vest in my life, and ever. T-shirts all the way. I've never ever worn a vest ever. I don't see me in a vest.
I
And now, I'm not going to start now, I'm 29 years old. I'm 30 in January. I'm not going to be wearing a vest ever in my life, probably.
Does that mean you either do t-shirt or no t-shirt?
I do no t-shirt, I do
There you go.
t-shirt,
Yeah.
yeah, but no vest.
I have an issue though in the UK when I see guys walking up the high street when the sun is hot with no shirt. I just think no.
It's not cool.
No.
Nah, because it's a very public area.
Yeah.
And it can, you know, even they go into the shops with no shirt on, and it's a problem, and it's offensive.
I'm so glad you
Actually.
said. I want to shout at John Newman who covered this recently for us. He loves you and he completely made it his own. Are you aware of him? Are you into him?
No, of course, yeah, I love that guy. I first met him outside my studio, because Mr. Hudson's got the room upstairs,
Okay.
and they were there like just having a fag or whatever. So I come out and I saw them and I met him. It's funny because his voice sounds really like his singing voice. Like you can see
No,
where.
it was like we actually said it didn't because when he sings he goes and we were taking the mickey.
I could totally hear it in his voice. So when he was speaking, he was just like, "Oh, mate, yeah, you're good." I was like, yeah, it's you. That's amazing.
And he's done really well. He's had a #1, which isn't bad.
You know what? He's a really, 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 really nice man.
What goes on in a beef at Kelvin Harris Ray for those that don't go?
It's good because the kind of music that I make is kind of aimed at the girls, you know, because the girls like songs. They like to sing along and they like not too threatening an environment. So the way I see it, if the girls come to the shows, the guys follow. It's an old classic.
You sound like Tupac. He used to say that.
Well, it's true.
But he used to call girls something else.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, I do, but just not on
I'm so glad.
on record. So, what's my point? I don't know.
Girls stripping at your shows is normal. and
Girls,
it's quite
well, it's
enjoyable.
hot and it's fine.
Yeah.
It's encouraged, but I don't do the whole, you know, people don't twerk to my music because my music is 4/4. And Deadpool makes the kind of music that's like boom.
Would you
boom,
like to make
boom,
twerking music?
No, I like the music I make.
Would you like to do a song that would encourage girls to twerk though?
Not particularly, no. I think there's a time and a place for everything. I'm a big fan of Deadpool, love him.
Have you seen girls twerking?
Have I seen it?
Yeah, twerking. Miley Cyrus is on my show next week and I'm kind of excited because she's good at twerking.
Right. Is she though?
Yeah, I think so. Have you
Okay.
not seen her video?
I haven't.
Oh my god, I'm sending you the link. She
I don't
twerked.
think I will watch
You
it.
need to watch it.
Okay.
She was amazing. I'm going to send you the video.
All right.
Twerking is a skill. It's a squat position and then you go front, back, front, back, front, back.
Uh-huh.
But some girls don't do it right.
Okay.
Practice. See what happens.
Cool.
Right, you Instagram and Twitter a lot more than you used to. I've noticed this.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. And you do some really weird pictures sometimes of like scary things. What is going on in your world?
I'm just trying to push the limits. You know? Just trying to take it to levels that you haven't ever seen before. And people can't work it out sometimes, but I like that.
Yeah. It's,
Some people get it and, you know, enjoy it. Some people don't, and then they get blocked.
all right, you got a special blocked.
Yeah,
Do
they
you
go.
block people.
I block people, yeah,
How
of course.
often?
As soon as someone's an idiot, I block them.
And you're never tempted to do anything back. You just block them.
Why would you do anything back? No, you just quietly remove them from your life.
I saw your beautiful girlfriend the other day, and I'm going to see her again later.
Yeah.
We had a bit of a laugh about how lanky you are and how
Oh, nice.
utterly
Cool.
small she looks next to you, and she's comfortable to wear Jordans and just cozy up on you.
Yeah.
She says she feels safe and secure, and you're wonderful.
Cool.
You've
So
got to
what's
say
the, what's the question?
You have to say something flattering back about her aside from the obvious that she's a hottie.
She's great, she's amazing.
Does she make you happy?
Very.
And do you like cuddling up to her and keeping her happy and secure because she's
Why,
so
who
beautiful?
wouldn't want that?
DJ Fresh says he approves. He says he doesn't know you very well, but if you make Rita happy, he's okay with it.
Well, good, as long as DJ Fresh approves. Cool.
What's next? Like, you must be already like creating more music. What's coming?
I have a song finished that I did with Alesso and Theo from Hertz.
Okay.
Two people that don't really get played on Capitol. Although that calling tune, it was Alesso and Sebastian Grosso, you know.
If Kelvin, that gets played all the time.
So that's me and him, he's another producer. And then Theo from Hertz, he's singing on it, it sounds great. So that's coming out after this. And then, you know, this fictional Big Sean track hopefully will materialize and we'll actually do something together, yeah.
All right, listen, lovely to see you.
Harris has won numerous awards and accolades for his music. He is sought out by others for collaborative efforts. His skill has ranked him as the highest paid DJ according to Forbes. With a start like this to his career, you have to wonder, how far can he go?